And Senator McCain in Hershey, Pennsylvania. That's the central part of the state. I'm going to dip in now for Governor Palin on the stump in PA. 21 electoral votes in that state 7 days from today.
Are you ready to send us to Washington to shake things up? Well, it is just a week from today, America. A week from today will be our time for choosing. Like that, I'm always tempted to tell security, no, let them stay. Maybe they could learn a thing or two from all of you. Pennsylvania, we need a leader. We need a leader now who is ready to lead on day one. We need a leader with experience and good judgment and truthfulness. We need someone who talks about the wars that America is fighting and isn't afraid to use the word victory. John served our country in uniform for 22 years. He spent 5.5 years as a POW, and he knows how to win a war. And as Cindy suggested there too, as the mother of one of the troops in Iraq now, that's exactly the kind of man I want as our commander-in-chief. We know that when it comes to national security, it is a given. We know the choice is so clear. It must be John McCain. But on taxes also, on our economy, you have such a clear choice. And I want to talk about this for a minute because our opponent is not being candid with you about his tax plans. And it is not mean-spirited, and it is not negative campaigning to call someone out on their record and their plans and their associations. It is not negative campaigning. It's in fairness to you, to the voters. Now, you have to really listen to our opponent's words through all of this. Listen to what he's saying, because now, he had been hiding behind his real agenda of redistributing your hard-earned money. He says that he's for a tax credit, which is when government takes more of your money and gives it away to someone else according to a politician's priorities. Now, opposed to John McCain, who is for a real tax cut, which means when government takes less of your earnings in the first place. Yes. And I've really got to hand it to Joe the plumber there in Toledo, Ohio. Somehow, Joe opponent to finally state his intentions, our opponent in plain language, and Senator Obama now saying that he wants to spread the wealth. And what that means is government taking more of your money and money from our small businesses and then doling it out however the politician sees fit. And Barack Obama calls that spreading the wealth. And Joe Biden calls higher taxes, he calls that patriotic. But to Joe the plumber, Joe said it sounded to him like socialism. Now is not the time to experiment with that, and a lot of folks around the country, they identify with Joe. We see posters that say, Doug the barber and Cindy the citizen. I like the one up here, Joe the chocolate maker. Or the one I saw the other night said, I am Joe Mama. And yesterday I got to meet in Virginia with Tito Munoz. He owns a small construction company, and we call him Tito the Builder. And Tito is not pleased with how the Obama campaign and its media friends have been roughing up Joe the plumber. Of course, they investigating and attacking him, Joe, just for merely asking a question. So Tito has a question of his own, and Barack Obama won't like this one either, but Tito wants to know, and I quote, he says, why the heck are you going after Joe the plumber? Joe the plumber has an idea. He has a future. He wants to be something else. Why is that so wrong? See? Tito is an immigrant from Colombia, a U.S. citizen now, and he had this reminder for us. He says, everything is possible in America, and I made it, and Joe the plumber can make it even bigger than me. He said, I was born in Colombia, but I was made in the USA. The only McCain supporter who feels that way. In fact, I know we have a lot of small business owners right here today with us, and you feel the way that Tito feels. And if you're like these hard-working people here, if you work hard and you know what hard work feels like, and if you believe that America is the land of possibilities, and you don't want your dreams dashed by the Obama tax increase, and if you don't like the way that our opponents have treated a guy who just asked a simple question, then I'll tell you, you're Joe the plumber too, and we're all in this together, Pennsylvania. So it doesn't sound like too many of you are supporting Barack the wealth spreader, not on November 4th. And that is because you understand that his plan to redistribute wealth will ultimately punish hard work, and it discourages productivity, and I tell you, it's going to stifle the entrepreneurial spirit that made this the greatest country on earth. So John has a different plan. He has a better plan. He will bring tax relief to every American and every business. He will lower your income taxes and will double the child tax deduction for every family. We'll cut the capital gains